Wladimir Klitschko says that he would like to break Joe Louis's record and become the longest reigning heavyweight champion in history. And that would mean fighting on for another 10 years. And Wladimir says he believes he can do that. I don't believe he can do that at all. I don't know if this is some type of ploy from, by Wladimir Klitschko, the motives of which I don't know, but just the idea that this guy could fight on for another 10 years, to me, is ridiculous. I don't think I would bet my house that this cannot happen. That Wladimir cannot go on for another 10 years. And if he does go on for another 10 years, he certainly won't be a champion for 10 years. That's for damn sure. If Wladimir fights all the contenders out there over the next 10 years, if he fights Pulev, Tyson Fury, Derek Chisora, Andy Ruiz, Luis Ortiz, Bryant Jennings, Deontay Wilder, if he fights all these guys, okay, Kubrat Pulev, if he fights all of them, I absolutely guarantee, I would bet my house that he's going to lose to one of them. And it will probably be the person we least expect. There is just no way that this guy can go on into his 40s. Wladimir Klitschko is an excellent fighter. I'm not here, degrading his talents. Wladimir Klitschko is tremendously talented. Manny Stewart, who I regard as the greatest trainer of all time, said Wladimir was actually the most talented fighter, most talented heavyweight he's ever worked with. More talented than Lennox Lewis. He said Lennox Lewis was a better fighter overall because Lewis was able to actually execute what Manny Stewart wanted him to do in the ring. Whereas, according to Manny, Wladimir leaves a lot of it in the gym and he don't really show his full potential in the ring. Okay? But nonetheless, Wladimir is a very talented fighter. Tremendous physical attributes, coordination and accuracy and whatnot for a big man. But he is vulnerable. We've seen that in the past. And over the past few years, Wladimir has been fighting in his comfort zone. He's been fighting in Germany mostly. When he did fight outside of Germany, when he fought in Russia, that fight was full of fouls and all sorts. If Wladimir Klitschko is forced to come to the US and fight for the WBC title, they will not allow Wladimir to lean all over whatever opponent he faces. I'm guaranteeing you they won't allow him to do that. The last time Wladimir Klitschko was not allowed to lean all over an opponent was the first fight with Lamont Brewster. Go check it. That was the last time Wladimir Klitschko was not allowed to lean all over an opponent to wear them out. And he lost that fight to Brewster. The leaning on, the reason why Wladimir Klitschko leans all over his opponent so much is because it is a massive part of his strategy to win. He doesn't like to engage people on the inside. He can't engage on the inside. He knows if he starts trying to fight opponents off when they get up close to him, he's going to get clipped. He knows that, and he's worried about what's going to happen when he gets clipped. He's worried about opponents being able to get off body shots against him. So he jumps all over them and commits these outrageous fouls all the way through a fight. Just go and watch the Povetkin fight. In fact, there's a very, very good video on the fouls that Klitschko committed in the Povetkin fight. If you just go on YouTube and type in Wladimir Klitschko shocking tactics or shocking illegal tactics, just type that into YouTube and the video will come up. Just click on the video. It will take you through from beginning to end the unbelievable, shocking tactics that Wladimir Klitschko employed, illegal tactics that Wladimir Klitschko employed in the Povetkin fight. And he only gets away with that kind of stuff when it's a Wladimir Klitschko show. All right? Over there, even in Russia, even though he's not from Russia, it was still clearly the Wladimir Klitschko show because it's still Eastern Europe. He still had his ref there and whatnot, taking care of his best interests. If he goes over to America, is a whole different agenda in America. They want another American heavyweight champion. That's the agenda because that sells. Right now, they hardly screen any Klitschko fights in the US. And none of the major networks, hardly show any of Wladimir Klitschko's fights. So they ain't making no money off Klitschko. But if they get an American heavyweight, over there, the networks are going to be scrambling to make sure this guy stays heavyweight champion as long as possible because they can reap the financial rewards from it. So if Klitschko goes over there to fight a guy, an American guy for a version of the heavyweight title, Klitschko's not going to get away with all the stuff he gets away with in Germany. I'm telling you right now. Like I said, the Lamont Brewster fight was the last time that Klitschko was properly dealt with by a referee, where he wasn't allowed to just hold and lean on and wear his opponent out. The first Sam Peter fight was the same. The first Sam Peter fight, he did hold in the fight, but he was never allowed to hold on and lean on the way that he does now against people like Povetkin and Mormek and all these other guys. Yeah. And when he's not allowed to lean on, he gets forced to actually fight people off. And when he's forced to fight people off, he expends more energy than he wants to. He gets hit more than he wants to. Okay, and that also tests his stamina. A lot of Klitschko fans seem to believe that he was drugged in the fight with Lamont Brewster. It's possible. There are dirty things that go on in boxing. It's possible that he could have been drugged. It's also possible that he could have gassed out because he was fighting at a much higher pace than he was accustomed to in that fight. Go watch the fight. He was fighting at a much higher pace than he was accustomed to, because he couldn't take breaks by leaning on his opponent. He had an opponent in front of him that was energized, and he couldn't lean on him and wear him out the way he's normally used to doing to opponents. So he had to literally fight this guy off. Every 3 minutes of the round, he was having to fight, throw punches constantly. And it's equally as plausible that just the stress of that caused Wladimir Klitschko to gas out, and was the reason why Lamont Brewster was able to come on. If I called him Lamont Peterson in this video, please, I apologize. You know what I mean? Sorry about that mistake. But yeah, Lamont Brewster, the reason why Brewster was able to win the fight was more because Wladimir Klitschko gassed out because he was fighting at a higher pace than he was used to. Okay, that's equally as plausible, if not more plausible, than the idea that he was drugged. But again, drugging and shenanigans, that does go on in boxing, I'm not going to lie. So yeah, I can't see Klitschko going on for 10 years. And if he does, he's definitely going to lose. And as I said, it will probably be to the person that you least suspect. There's no way in my mind that he can fight all those guys, Wilder and Fury and Chisora and Kubrat Pulev and Jennings and all these people, Luis Ortiz. He's not going to fight all these people and win. I'm telling you right now, I will take up a bet with anyone that if he fights all those guys, he ain't gonna come out undefeated. He's gonna lose to someone, and like I say, he'll probably be the guy we least suspect. Anyway, let me stop waffling. Drop your comments below. Let me know how you feel about this. If you disagree with me, please give me some logical reasons as to why you disagree, why you think he can carry on for 10 years. Give me some logic, because no one thought that Leon Spinks could beat Muhammad Ali. No one thought that Buster Douglas could beat Mike Tyson. No one thought that Evander Holyfield, who was considered to be over the hill and washed up, could beat Mike Tyson. Okay, I know hindsight is a wonderful thing, and now people say, oh, Tyson wasn't right when he fought Douglas, or Tyson wasn't right when he fought Holyfield. They weren't saying that before the fight, people. Okay? No one was saying that Muhammad Ali wasn't right before he fought Leon Spinks, even though he wasn't right. No one was saying it. People were saying, oh, even if he is a little bit heavy, he's still got enough to deal with a 6 or 7 fight novice. You know? So hindsight is a wonderful thing. People always act like geniuses after the fact. After the upset has already happened, everyone claims they're a genius. But how many people went out there and put money on it? A large amount of money on it if they were so confident that it would happen. I'm telling you, I've been following the sport of boxing for long enough to know that upsets happen when you least expect. I mean, major upsets happen when you least expect. And it's against the opponent who most people have, you know, who give no chance at all. And in fact, Alex Leopai would be a prime candidate for that. Because I give Leopai next to no chance. You get me? So those are the kind of fights where the crazy upsets tend to happen. It's not in the big fights like the David Haye situation. You know, because that would have been a slight upset for David Haye to beat Klitschko, but nothing major. Okay? And I picked Klitschko in that fight. Anyway, drop your comments below. Let me know how you feel about the whole situation. This is Hatman. I'm out.